I just want to get your take. If you didn't watch Market Call yesterday, people, or listen to us, that surprise OPEC cut of 1 million barrels a day, it caused crude oil to gap higher, above the downtrend that had been in place from last year's highs at the height of the fear of, the Russian invasion of Ukraine here. Didn't get to its 200-day moving average yesterday. It's trading within yesterday's range also too. Thoughts on crude here, because I want to take the other side of this near term. I'm going to use futures, I want to use stops, and I want to talk about levels. But I'm just curious your take on that as far as 24 hours later, the price action in crude oil.
Yeah, no, it's fair. And I think to take the other side at this point, maybe it exhausted itself yesterday. I'm still bullish. I will say I'm still bullish in crude. I still think we have a significant move higher. We had Paul Sankey on Fast Money last night, and he talked about the backdrop now setting up for a very bullish crude in a few coming months. Now, he was a guy, by the way, in November, I think, when Brent was $80, that thought we could see 120 Brent by the spring. Well, it's a spring, and we're obviously not there. I think we got a little bit north of 85. But he also thinks, given what's going on, suggests that the crude should go higher. I'll say this, though. If you look at some of the underlying equities today, and I see a couple comments, Guy Valero tanking what's happening. That's from Gary Maggio. If you listen to Paul Sankey last night, he actually said that move in crude was actually negative for some of these refiners, and he specifically mentioned Valero. He said you'd rather be in some of these levered names, and he mentioned a lot of the OIH. So Valero under pressure today. It's unfortunate if you're bullish that we were not able to take out the levels we saw earlier this year, I think north of sort of 145. I'm not ready to throw in the towel here by any stretch because we've seen moves in this magnitude before in some of the refiners. But I think your instincts are right to sort of trade it contra in terms of the commodity. But I still think longer term crude's going higher.
Yeah, so this is near term trade here, and again, I want to use the futures. And when crude's trading about $80 today, I want to use an 82 stop. So I'm going to short at 80. I'm going to use an 82 stop. Why am I choosing 82? It's basically right about the highs of the last 2 trading days. And then if you look at that downtrend, if we want to toggle back for a second of the chart that we just had there, it kind of lines up with the 50-day moving average. That was also Friday's close where we got that gap on Monday after the OPEC surprise cut. So that check back, as Carter would call it, back to that support line, which is past resistance, now support, would be my initial target. So I'm like looking for a $5 move down to 75. And at that point, I mean, you have the ability to kind of continue to move your stops down, that sort of thing. So we're using the May contract. That's what I'm looking for here. And again, I just want to use a tight stop. And, above that, if I get stopped out at 82, let's see if it continues to go to that 200-day moving average, which is downward sloping, and then that might be another opportunity, Guy, if it were to fail there, to get back in on the short.
It's interesting. And look, we've talked about when the administration is going to get back and try to buy back the SPR. EY from SoFi yesterday brought up the fact that they probably are not allowed to do it given what's going on with the debt limit and those types of things. I have no idea how that works. Or somebody actually texted me yesterday or tweeted at me that said, as long as you're releasing from the SPR, you then can't buy back into it or something like that. There are all these different mandates. I have no idea. With that said, they better get on the bus pretty soon.